Daenerys Targaryen, played by Emilia Clarke, is often at the heart of many of them, most recently sleeping with her nephew, Jon Snow, Kit Harington. Despite not really knowing his true identity, Game of Thrones is used to surprising fans with its mind-blowing shocks and twisting storylines. Although they seem like love's young dream at the end of Season 7, one Reddit user thinks the relationship will come crumbling down by Season 8. And should she not form a union with Jon, the door is open for another man to take her hand in marriage. Jorah Mormont, Ian Glenn Kalikas wrote the incredible theory on Reddit, suggesting the whole thing surrounds a big betrayal at the hands of Tyrion Lannister. Peter Dinklage. In Season 7, Tyrion discovered Daenerys couldn't have children following a curse placed upon her in the early seasons. To make matters worse, he found out his evil sister, Cersei Lannister, Lena Headey, was also pregnant. The forum poster believes he betrayed Daenerys in some way during his meeting with the Queen, noting the mystery action will have dire consequences in Season 8. They added, so basically when Jon and Daenerys find out they're having a baby, Jon will say how he'll want to marry her because he'll never want a bastard. But, just because a character wants something, doesn't mean it's going to happen, especially in Game of Thrones, and honestly I'm sure just the opposite will happen. I think Tyrion will talk Jon and Daenerys out of marrying each other and say how the North won't accept Jon being a Targaryen and or marrying a Targaryen. I think Sansa will also push the North against it too, and they may even call Sansa Lord Queen of Winterfell in his place. When will Game of Thrones Season 8 be released? The Reddit user continued to suggest there will be a clear rift between the former allies after Tyrion's bold claim, and it will be at this point the Game of Thrones favorite will come to terms with the fact he is a Lannister and he loves being one. They went on, at this point everyone knows about Jon's heritage, but only a smaller group know of Dany's pregnancy with Jon, and this is where Jorah enters the mix. The wily Tyrion then goes on to convince Daenerys how she will need to marry a Northerner in order to win the trust of the North. Her unborn child will be known as Jorah to the outside world, and Jon will convince the North to accept Daenerys' aid so they can fight the Night King, Vladimir Verdict. The theory concludes, the war will come against the army of the dead and Dany will have her child at the beginning of it. Samuel Tarly, John Bradley has also offered Jorah Heartsbane at this point. Jon will be off fighting at this point, but Jorah will be with her. Daenerys will be in so much pain and anguish after her child she'll tell Jorah to bare her breast. Jorah with a heavy heart will do it by punching the sword through her chest, becoming Azor Ahai when he has done so. Later in the battle, Jorah will the Night King, but in the doing of it, ending the war. The Reddit user concludes by suggesting Daenerys and Jon's child could end up back in Winterfell, never knowing his mother in a similar way to his father did in Game of Thrones. Of course, this all relies on whether Cersei is actually pregnant or not, and whether Daenerys can carry a child given her curse from the past. And could the HBO hit actually deliver a big twist by making Jorah Azor Ahai, given all the clues pointing towards Jon Snow? Game of Thrones Season 8 will return to HBO and Sky Atlantic in 2019. Seasons 1 to 7 are currently streaming on Now TV.